After this technical rounds were done, right, we had also a Worson test.
Yeah.
So first question is, what exactly is the Worson test, right? And how many stages are there in Worson test? What all skill sets are going to be tested in Worson test?
Talking about the rounds in Deloitte USI, so whenever they'll schedule your technical round, so just a day before they'll have a orientation sort of a thing where they'll just brief you about the entire interview process, ki what are the different rounds, how things actually work at. So I used to quickly go through the LinkedIn and just look at their LinkedIn profile, that what they have posted about, like
Also, you want to add on to some of the technical questions which were asked to you?
बी प्रिपेयर्ड कि जो सीवी में आपको जो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स लिखा है ना, तो उसके बारे में अगर बाई चांस वो कुछ पूछ ले, ऐड उसे टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ में भी ऐड करो.
So great. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next interview session where we are going to be discussing about end-to-end process of Deloitte USI. So we have our three of our students, those who have joined in for this session. First of all, I would like to welcome all of them and thank them for joining in for today's short interview guidance session. So first of all, we'll start with your journey, guys, right? We want to know your journey out, what you did after your exams were over, and how did you reach Deloitte USI for a start audit role. Of course, this is an interview for start audit. So we'll start with Ramnath. What happened after you cleared your exam, and how did you reach to Deloitte USI?
Like, to be very honest, after my exams, like since I did my articles in a mid-size firm where it was predominantly in the areas of taxation and audit, I wanted to get only in these areas of taxation and audit. I had no idea like where to apply, what to do. Like I was in Outline, I was applying for each and everything that I saw that had pressure. And I got no calls, to be very honest, except one or two. You know, one MNC that I gave for, and he was like, he asked me some questions beyond which I had no exposure. I was like, I have no exposure in internal audit. He was like, that's okay, you can come and give for an interview. Like he asked me what is SOX complaints, how do you do it? Like I had no idea. No, I told him clearly I had no exposure in all this. I wasn't selected.
Okay.
And one more company that I got selected for, it was a good company, it was a listed company, but the pay they offered was almost like, I would say it was very lesser than compared to industry standards. I was like, we'll let it pass.
So we'll come to the question part later, right? We'll also ask Ojasvi your journey out. Ojasvi, how did you reach out to Deloitte USI? Just in short.
Okay, so sir, first of all, when I took GIR batch, ठीक है, उसके बाद जो आपके आफ्टर सेशंस होते थे, so आपने संभव and all के बारे में बताया. So as soon as the result came out, since my resume was already ready and I was preparing for the interviews and all, so I filled the Sambhav form, and I think after not very much time, I think 4 to 5 days, I got a mail from Sambhav team that you have been referred at Deloitte USI, and I got a link. I got a call from HR and everything that today is the orientation, tomorrow is the interview and everything.
Great.
So I think it was very short process. Like in 1 or 2 days, they finalized everything, and after that the Worson test and the technical and the HR round was done on the same day. And so after 4 days there was a mail, and after 2 days there was a mail for the partner round. So after the partner round, I got a call after 4 days. So I think within 10 days to 10 to 11 days, everything was complete.
Got it. Okay. Now we'll come to Ashish. Ashish, I just want you to also highlight on the process which is there. What are the major processes which is followed in Deloitte? कि कितने rounds होते हैं and how much duration does it takes? And just a brief about your journey as well.
Yeah, so talking about my journey, I also joined GIR because one of my friend also joined it in the last batch. So he told me that, you'll have a good exposure about what are the different options that you have, what are the different interests that you can pursue after you have completed. So I joined it. Based on that, I got the understanding of it, and I thought ki chalo start mein hi chalte, because start was something that interests me usually.
Right.
So I also got referred via Sambhav. I got a mail from the Sambhav team that you have been referred to Deloitte USI, and then the HR calls talking about the rounds in Deloitte USI. So whenever they'll schedule your technical round, so just a day before they'll have a orientation sort of a thing where they'll just brief you about the entire interview process, ki what are the different rounds, how things actually work at Deloitte, and some of the perks and their environment in general. So talking about it, they have first of all, there'll be of course a pre-screening call based on which they'll schedule your technical interview.
Got it.
Then once they schedule your technical interview, they tell you that you will have 3 rounds on the same day. Basically, you will have your technical round in the morning. Then
Mm.
if you clear your technical round, then you will have your HR round, and you'll also have to give your Worson test by the end of the day.
Got it.
In my case, there was some time issues, so I only gave my technical round on the first day, and I got the link to give the Worson test. And
Okay.
the HR round was scheduled for some other day.
Mm.
So once you clear your technicals, you get the link for HR and your Worson test. Once you clear your HR and Worson, they schedule your partner round. That takes some time. I'll say they take about a week, because uh, my technical round happened on 27th or 28th.
Mm.
HR, because of some technical difficulties, happened on first, and then
Okay.
my partner happened on 18th.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So
Now,
yeah.
also, I want Ramnath to highlight on, right? You must also have got some pre-screening call. So, what type of questions were expected by the HR, or what type of questions were asked by HR in a pre-screening round?
Yeah, she asked me like, what are your articleship experience? Can you run me through your articleship experience and the
Okay.
industries that you have audited in, and like what all things other than like from statutory audit that you did during your articleship, and which city were you based out of? Are you This is a pure stat audit role? Are you okay with this? And she asked me, she took my consent before going ahead for the interview as well.
Got
It's
it.
like a basic question: the industries that you audited in, and what's the percentage of your articleship exposure that was directed towards stat audit as in? These were the questions that were done during my pre-screening call at least.
Got it. Got it. Ojasvi, you want to add on something?
Yeah, actually, sir, first of all, let me tell you one thing that be prepared, because you don't know कि interview कैसा होने वाला है, who will be the interviewer. In my batch only, my interview was only 20 minutes, and the other girl, who was also from GI batch 41, we were just talking, and she told me that my interview was 45 minutes. So
Okay.
I just want to say कि interview don't ask कि भाई interview कैसा होगा, work culture अच्छा तो interview भी easy होगा. Never think that. Matlab, be prepared on your side as well, everything, the index and all. And I would like to add on the questions, like I would add on these things, that be prepared with to tell me about yourself, and be prepared with the question that you have to ask with the interviewer. And not just one question, like अगर 3-4 prepare करोगे ना, तब जाके वो सोचेंगे कि हाँ ये बंदा या ये बंदी कंपनी में इंटरेस्टेड है, दैट्स वाई. और बहुत ही मैंने तो सर इतने घुस घुस के क्वेश्चंस निकाले थे ना साइड के, कि भाई अगर सीपीए, जैसे उनका एक था सीपीए एस्पिरेंट्स वाला, वो सीपीए स्पॉन्सर करते हैं ऑल. सो आई वाज लाइक कि क्यों करते हैं, किस किस को करते हैं, तो मैंने उनसे पूछा. एंड सेकंड थिंग, आई आस्क्ड कि सो आई आस्क्ड अबाउट विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एंड एवरीथिंग. मतलब वो, क्योंकि दोनों जो इंटरव्यूअर्स थी मेरी, दोनों ही दे वर फीमेल्स. So I asked you how do you like the culture, and as per how do you take care, and what do they do to support women entrepreneurship. So ऐसे ऐसे questions पूछे थे. So मतलब technical तो I was sure कि हाँ हो ही जाएगा ये तो.
Got it.
पार्टनर राउंड में मुझे लग रहा था कि I don't know होगा कि नहीं होगा.
Got it. Got it. ठीक है. Ashish, I just also wanted to highlight, since you've mentioned the first round will be your pre-screening. After that is done, there's a technical round. Once technical is done, you will have a HR, then a Worson round, and then you'll have a partner round. I think that is what the process is. After that is done, so I just want you to talk about what happens in a technical round, how long generally it goes for, and what type of questions are generally going to be expected here.
Sir, I think when you sit for an interview, what my thought process was to understand the context of that interview, like in which context they want to interview you. Like if you're focusing on, if you're giving interview for a finance role, then the context would be very different from a stat audit role. So when I went in for the technical interview, it usually, matlab, mine lasted for around 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that was the general amount they pitched in for every candidate. Exceptions might be there, but they ask you, they start with very general questions, like, what is materiality, and very general questions, just so that you are very comfortable with the environment in general. And once you've done that, they ask you majorly about the assertions.
Okay.
That what are the assertions, then can you map the assertions to different account balances, what has been your significant findings in your articleship journey, then how did you dealt with the different adversities that you found. You can brief, they ask you to brief about those situations. And then they ask you about internal controls, how is internal controls different from substantive procedures was a question asked. Means we usually see substantive procedures and analytical procedures as two different things, but when they ask you a question that like that, you have to be very confident that you sound very substance. Matlab you know your answer should have a lot of substance and not just a very layman sort of a language.
True.
So these were the kind of questions asked. Then of course they ask you that how do you audit different account balances. For example, I was asked how do you audit accounts payable. So you should be very thorough in mapping your audit procedures to different assertions. Like structure of your answer will define whether they what kind of perception they'll have about you. So you can either just shoot at them random procedures, and that I don't think that will do a lot of good to your chances. But when you structure it in a way that you map those procedures with assertions, like you say that when auditing accounts payable, we'll check the evaluation, sorry, we'll check the completeness wala assertion based on these procedures. So when you map your procedures with assertions, that really helps you structure your answer in a much better way, and that also leaves a very good impression on the interviewer.
Got
So
it.
these sort of a questions. Then of course, one thing that I did personally was whenever that I was placed in an interview round, we have Zoom meeting mein, they used to put up names of the people who are interviewing you. So I used to quickly go through the LinkedIn and just look at their LinkedIn profile, that what they have posted about. Like when I had my partner round, so I just LinkedIn पे मैंने search किया कि कौन partner है, and then I found out that he was posting some articles about ESG and everything. So when he asked me that do you have a questions for me, so I asked him based on the ESG that what is Deloitte doing in the field of ESG and how do we serve our clients based on these things. So yeah, this is just something that you can do, work for me.
Right. Great.
So
Great. Great.
Adding to Ashish,
Yeah,
I
please.
just say that जो हमारा first day before the interview we got an orientation. So I just taken a screenshot of everything they were telling you at the orientation, and उसमें से भी questions काफी अच्छे बन गए थे. So
True.
yeah.
Yes. So also you want to add on to some of the technical questions which were asked to you, Ojasvi?
Yeah, sure. So, sir, like normally, जो आशीष ने बताया that internal controls, materiality, and assertion mapping was one of the important things, and even we think that directors round में technical नहीं पूछते, but they can ask you technical. Like मुझसे जो technical पूछे थे, I think it was how do you check loans and borrowings? What would be the assertion mapping of loans and borrowings and everything, and वो आपने आर्टिकलशिप के एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में भी काफी कुछ पूछ सकते हैं. लाइक ही आस्क्ड मी अबाउट व्हाट वर योर अचीवमेंट्स, व्हाट डू यू थिंक वाज द अचीवमेंट इन योर आर्टिकलशिप. सो आई थॉट मतलब ऐसा तो वैसा कोई अचीवमेंट नहीं था, बट आई जस्ट टोल्ड हिम दैट one of the time the partners praised me, one of the partner praised me and he has given me more work. So I think that was a big achievement for me because I have been allotted directly from the partner.
Right.
So yeah, ऐसे HR वाले questions भी काफी मतलब ऐसे होने चाहिए that हाँ, सब्सटेंस होना चाहिए, जैसा कि आशीष ने बोला कि या वो साउंड ट्रू करो, मतलब वो आपका ट्रू होना चाहिए, रियल में ट्रू होना चाहिए, तभी उसे लगेगा. एंड वन थिंग दैट यू रियली हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट दे विल बी वेरी काम, लाइक बहुत ही काम टोन में पूछेंगे. सो कभी कभी आपको डाउट होने लगता है कि पता नहीं इफ आई एम राइट और रॉन्ग. सो इस चीज पे पैनिक मत करना, लाइक ट्राई टू स्टे काम, ट्राई टू मैच द एनर्जी of the interviewer.
Got it. Got it. Ramnath, any other questions which you want to highlight?
I would like to tell one more thing. I was asked what do you mean by integrated audit, the term. To be very honest, I didn't know. I told them openly.
Okay.
See, I have done stat audit, but I'm not sure with this term exactly, but I'm willing to learn on it right away. And I think that's one of the main aspects. It's good to agree if you do, good to accept that you do not know anything, rather than going into it and getting stuck on it without knowing what it is. To be very honest.
True.
And even I was asked the same, mostly with regards to assertions and the audit procedures. Like I was asked about revenue. What do you mean by deferred revenue? Like what are the entries for deferred revenue? What's a three-way match? Like how do you do a three-way match? And with regards to account receivables, like they asked me, what do you do when in case you don't receive any confirmations? And what are the two types of confirmations like this? And it was mostly around basic audit procedures, like what do you mean by materiality? How do you calculate it, and types of materiality.
Got it.
Mostly it
Got
was centered
So
around it.
one question was asked by my one of the interview by मतलब मेरी friend को एक question पूछा था कि how do you obtain comfort on the opening balances.
Got
So
it.
हाँ, so that was a good question. मतलब मुझे तो नहीं पता था इसका आंसर.
Hmm.
And उसने भी जो बोला, I thought it was correct, but according to the interviewer it was not. So yeah,
Got
it was
it.
a good question.
Also wanted to know, right, since for reading material, I think our team had worked a lot and we have issued one of the reading material for stat audit. So how useful it was to you guys, Ashish or anyone who can take this?
Like, to be
So
very honest, in our articleship, we have done audit procedures, but not all of them would have exposure in Ind AS or a balance sheet that consists of all items such as deferred taxes and other stuff. So the audit assertions mapping that in your PDF was very useful in this aspect. It helps to it had all the assertions and audit procedures that is mapped to these assertions as well. These are very useful. Like if we have been asked how do you verify deferred taxes, research and development expenditure, we can be very confident to answer it enough. And also to add to that, we had given how to plan and right from planning the audit, right to the reporting part is also mentioned clearly. Right to the opinion part is also mentioned clearly in your PDF as well. Added along with the questions, it adds a lot of value as well, and it's much easier for the interview preparation part as well.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Great. And also just wanted to know, so after this technical rounds were done, right, we had also a Worson test.
Yeah.
So first question is, what exactly is the Worson test, right? And how many stages are there in Worson test? What all skill sets are going to be tested in Worson test? I think Ojasvi, we can start with.
Okay, so the Worson test is like actually, I don't know, people usually don't take Worson test seriously, but it should be taken very seriously because उसका जो level होता है checking का, वो मैं आपको एक चीज बताती हूँ. Worson test doesn't check कि आप क्या बोल रहे हो, but whatever you are speaking, you should be speaking fluently. Like if उसमें अगर this बोला है, so you can speak that, but जो आप sentence बोल रहे हो ना, that should be very fluent. Okay. And second thing, just don't panic while giving Versant. Use a wired headphones or earphones. And plus, मतलब मैंने तो फैन ही ऑफ कर दिया था अपनी कमरे का कि फैन की आवाज ना जाए. So just stay calm क्योंकि Versant में क्या होता है ना कि सर उसमें पहले तो वो कंप्यूटर प्रॉक्टर कुछ बोलता है and then जस्ट फिर उसमें 1-2 सेकंड का टाइम मिलता है तो उसमें ना हम पैनिक करके ना हमारी वॉइस ढंग से नहीं निकल आती. ढंग से नहीं निकल पाते. सो यू शुड जस्ट स्टे काम, टेक अ डीप ब्रेथ एंड देन आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन. एंड जो उसका सबसे टेक्निकल सबसे कठिन होता है दैट इज लाइक स्टोरी टेलिंग एंड एवरीथिंग.
Yes.
ओके, इट्स ओके टू not say the exact words. It's okay not to write if you have not written the story. Just उस स्टोरी का जिस्ट पता होना चाहिए एंड आपको पता होना क्या क्या इंसिडेंट्स हुए एंड बस फ्लुएंटली बोल दो. And
Got
even
it.
if you're not speaking the exact words, suppose अगर ostrich था तो आपने egg बोल दिया या dog बोल दिया, it's okay. Okay, just don't panic. Just say it. और जो filler words होते हैं ऐसे ऐसे करके, please don't use that. Just
Got it. Got it. हाँ, but it is more recommended कि आप सही बोलो, नहीं तो फिर वो थोड़ा दिक्कत हो जाएगा आपके लिए.
Sir, mostly it is recommended to stay to keep it
More of a
fluent.
fluency.
Even if
Yeah.
even if
Okay.
you're saying the wrong
So also I would like to
Yeah.
add something to the Worson test wala part. See, Worson test, they are basically taking to just know that whether you will be comfortable in communicating with people from different regions. So
True.
you will see that when there are different sentences being spoken to you in the Worson test, they'll be in different accents.
Right.
So the worst part about the Worson test basically is because it is not humanly proctored. A machine is proctoring.
True.
So a lot of times you can do things which are very basic, like you can cough and you can, just clear your throat and you will feel कि यार ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, but the machine might take it very differently.
Right.
So it's very important to know कि यार computer is proctoring you. बाकी I only gave Worson test once, but in some cases I found out that people even had to give Worson test thrice.
Got it. Yes.
Because
True.
maybe because one or two reasons कि हो सकता है they were not very sure कि कैसा रहा या फिर कुछ technical glitch या whatever, but a lot of people had to give Worson test twice and a lot of people had to give it thrice as well.
Got it.
तो
So what all things were there? मतलब क्या sections रहते हैं?
सर वर्सन टेस्ट का बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर वैसा ही रहता है जैसे हमारे सीएमओ वाले का है. बेसिकली सिमिलर अमाउंट ऑफ राउंड्स, मे बी मोर क्वेश्चंस. लाइक अगर यहाँ पे 6 सेंटेंसेस हैं तो वहां पे हो सकता है 10 हो या 15 हो.
अच्छा.
तो बेसिकली वो चीज थोड़ी सी आपको अनकंफर्टेबल कर सकती है कि यार 10 बार वील हैव टू मतलब रीइटरेट द सेम सेंटेंसेस या फिर वो वाली चीज है. बट वर्सन टेस्ट का लेवल इज बेसिकली आर यू कंफर्टेबल विद द लैंग्वेज, क्या आप अलग अलग एक्सेंट सुन सकते हो. तो उसमें राउंड सेम ही होते हैं सर, जैसे हमारे वर्सन टेस्ट सीएमओ वाले में है कि फर्स्ट इज जस्ट रीडिंग आउट, second one is just listening and then repeating, third is jumbled, then there is a round where they ask you random questions like agar if your stomach is paining, so is it stomach ache or is it headache.
हाँ,
So these sort of questions, a lot of these type of questions are asked कि आपकी basic, मतलब very basic, but मतलब the technical parts उसमें वही होते हैं. First one is when you listen to different accents and then you have to repeat it because you're listening the accents for the first time. So you can mess up there. The second part is when you have been given jumble sentences. So they give you the sentence in three parts and then you have to make a sentence out of it. And the last round is, of course, they narrate to you two stories and then you have to reiterate it in your own words.
Right.
So this is basically the flow of Worson test. But yes, when you give it twice or thrice, some rounds increase. Like in the third round, they also have some typing test sort of a thing where you have to type and everything. But that is if you have to give the second or third round. Otherwise, the first round is basically similar to what we have given in CA Monk, just more number of questions.
Got it. मतलब
I-
आप बोल रहे हो कि CA Monk में क्वेश्चंस और बढ़ा दो. ठीक है, I'll do it.
So
Yes,
because
I think Ramnath wants it on.
सर वो 30-35 मिनट तक बैठना और कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन पे
हाँ.
देखना सर वो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. लाइक
True.
हाँ, आप 5 मिनट्स में और फिर 35 मिनट्स तक वो दे रहे हो और कंटिन्यूअसली यू आर वाचिंग द स्क्रीन, यू हैव टू कंसंट्रेट व्हाट इट इज स्पीकिंग.
Got
सो
it.
थोड़ा हाँ
और
वो
कई बार ऐसा होता है कि दे अलग अलग एक्सेंट्स में पीपल मतलब दे
हाँ,
स्पीक सेंटेंस इन डिफरेंट एक्सेंट्स, तो आपको शुरू के एक दो वर्ड समझ नहीं आते हैं.
समझ में नहीं आता. I have seen, I have taken a lot of demo in the class, right? तो मैं क्लास में जब प्ले कर देता था, I don't know you remember it or not, right? एक दो स्टूडेंट को बोलता था बोलो क्या बोला दीदी ने, right? I generally call the दीदी.
Because it's very
Like,
easy to zone out ना, because you're sitting in front of a screen, no one is communicating with you, तो you can zone out in certain sentences कि आपका ध्यान ही नहीं था, तो you completely miss कि उसने बोला ही क्या. तो it's very important कि आप concentrated रहो, you stay focused for, हाँ, it will take around 30-35 minutes, but you have to be focused in Worson test because I've seen a lot of people being rejected on the Worson test.
Got it. So just to summarize for the people those who are watching, in majorly 5 to 6 sections will be there. First is reading, second is repeat, third question and answer, fourth is sentence building, fifth is storytelling, and sixth is open-ended questions. This sort of questions are going to be there, right? So if you are going to be part of GR, those may we cover it out. We give a student a Worson test where they can practice it out, right? So after the Worson test is over, if you don't qualify, so you're not called for a partner round. But if you qualify, you're going to be called for a partner round, right? So
yeah, and they give you 1 or 2 chance to clear a Worson test. मतलब किसी को 3
Not
to
everyone gets it.
हाँ, no, but that also depends on the HR.
हाँ. Matlab, because I've seen people who have just given Worson test once and their interview process was done in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got second and in some cases third as well.
Got
But that is very subjective. So try to clear it in once. You don't want to have a headache of giving Worson again and again.
Like I gave my Worson test on a Friday evening at around 6 or 7. I got a call from the HR on Saturday. My morning wake up call was from the HR.
Okay.
Like,
Got it. Okay, Ashish, आपको किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए थे पार्टनर राउंड में?
So partner round mein again, they start you by just a general introduction. They're good people in terms of interviewing you. They'll be very calm when they're interviewing you. They'll listen to what you're saying. So they'll just ask you about your introduction, then about your background, why Deloitte, and all of these kind of questions. And once they get into that, what have you done during your articleship, that's where the things can get technical. And that is totally based on what you feed them, basically. Because I did not had too much technicals asked to me because he just asked me that what has been your article experience, and I briefed him about how was my process in audit and what are the areas that I audited, and then maybe he was satisfied with my answers. So he did not went very technical, but in some cases, as I had a conversation with my friend, they went a little bit technical. So don't go with the mindset that only behavioral questions will be asked in the partner round. They can ask you technical questions, but then if you have done those things in the articleship, then you can easily brief them out. And it's okay to say no to an answer. It's okay to say कि I cannot recall it, or I'm not aware about this, or I'll learn about it after the interview, or it'll be great if you can brief me about but once the interview is done. So it's okay to not have all the answers, but what is very important is that you should sound very confident in saying so, because once you say no to an answer, it's very easy to lose confidence for the rest of the round.
True.
And so it's very important to be very confident in your knowledge and just know the fact that it's okay to not know a couple of answers.
Great. I think that was a great journey and experience which you have shared. Right. So before we close, just a last one pro tip which you want to share. Right. A short pro tip which you want to share, which will start with Ramnath. Just a short pro tip.
yeah, be confident whatever you say. Even if you do not know, that's absolutely fine, is what I would say from my experience, at least from. And it's not like they expect everything from you. Like you can narrate your experiences in a more professional and be more precise and more bold. That's what I would like to tell about.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, Ashish.
So one thing that I like to say, and I have seen in a lot of people, is they very easily lose confidence. First of all, the pro tip will be just feel good about what you have done in your life. Feel good that you have cleared your chartered accountancy, and just know that you're worth everything in this world. So whenever you're sitting for an interview, do not think that someone is someone can intimidate you. You have all the knowledge that is required. It's okay to not know answers. Just sound very confident and don't be very nervous, because when you're very nervous now, that reflects in your voice and your tone, and that is very absurd to the interview. Okay, matlab, the someone is not confident, and he's using a lot of wala part. So just be very confident, just feel good about yourself, just feel that you're worth it, and be very confident. Your confidence will take you through. So be very confident is what I'll say, and just feel good that you have cleared your chartered accountancy.
Right. Indirectly तुम बोल रहे हो GR join कर लेना.
वो तो कर ही लेना.
Great. Yes. Yes, Ojasvi.
So, sir, as I've already highlighted that be prepared with the tell me about yourself part and the last ending questions. Like prepare 3 to 4 questions. एक question पूछने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला. ठीक है. And जैसे कि आशीष ने बोला feel good या वो सब तो है ही. Plus जब आप interview दे रहे हो, try to smile. मतलब एक स्माइल इट क्रिएट्स अ पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड इन द माइंड कि हाँ भले ही बंदी प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं है बट एटलीस्ट शी हैज अ पॉजिटिव फेस. सो इंटरव्यू को भी अच्छा लगता है कि दे आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस. वो अच्छे क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं. मतलब वो ऐसे नहीं वो आपको दे डोंट आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट द इंटरव्यूअर बट एटलीस्ट वो इतना ग्रिल नहीं करेंगे जितना नॉर्मली कोई डरे हुए बंदे को ज्यादा लोग करते हैं.
True.
जस्ट स्माइल मतलब उसे अच्छा लगेगा. एंड प्लस कभी कभी ऐसा हो सकता है कि इंटरव्यूअर की स्क्रीन ऑफ हो and
Video
your
off
screen is
yeah.
open. So you cannot see the interviewer. पता नहीं वो कैसा उसके expressions हैं कैसे उसकी. So बस यही सोचो कि भाई आपके सामने शिवम पलन सर बैठे हैं and he is smiling and मतलब कितनी भी ग्रिलिंग हो सर आपकी ग्रिलिंग से कम होगी.
अच्छा ओ भाई मेरी ऐसी इमेज बन रही है कि मैं ज्यादा ग्रिल करता हूँ लोगों को.
इंटरव्यू हमारी ग्रिलिंग एंड तो इट्स बेटर कि हाँ एक पॉजिटिव फेस रखो एंड ऑलवेज बी प्रिपेयर्ड कि जो सीवी में आपको जो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स लिखा है ना तो उसके बारे में अगर बाई चांस वो कुछ पूछ ले आप ऐड उसे टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ में भी ऐड करो क्योंकि हो सकता है कि और वो आप अच्छे से जानते हो बेटर देन द टेक्निकल्स यू विल नो योर एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स.
Yes.
So one more thing which I forgot to add is one thing I'll suggest is do not try to mug up answers to technical questions, because when you mug up straight answers and when someone asks you and you just throw the mugged up answer, it sounds very clearly that someone has mugged up and he's just throwing what he has just crammed. So just know the thing and have a hold on the technical words that are required to answer any question, and then frame it for yourself. Don't try to mug it up, because when you mug it up, it sounds very obvious that you have mugged up and you do not have the exact knowledge about that question. So just know what that answer is and have a hold on the technical words that are required, and then frame it for yourself. Because I have seen a lot of people cramming answers to a lot of questions, and then when they throw it up in the interview, it sounds very vague. It sounds very obvious that you have crammed it and you do not have any knowledge of it. So whenever you are answering, just sound very genuine, very convincing, and the interview should feel like you know the answer and you're just throwing what you have crammed. So just structure the answer for yourself, because and that happens with tell me about yourself also, because for the first time if you're telling someone about yourself, now you are giving a lot of interviews. So when the first time you say, you have that genuine thing of telling about yourself, but by the time you're giving your 10th interview, it feels like a mugged up answer that you are saying, and that reflects in your tone कि आप बस फिर एक sentences बोल रहे हो कि I hail from such and such place, I have done my schooling from this, and that that genuineness of telling about yourself fades away. So just have in mind what are the things that you want to communicate, what are the words that you will be using, and then frame it different every time. Don't mug up answers is what I'll suggest.
Got it. So great. I think that was a great interview experience which you guys have shared, and really happy that you have covered everything in very detailed manner. And thanks once again for all of you for joining in. I wish you all the best for your career ahead. Stay in touch, right? Do trouble me out more so that I can help you whenever it is needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And anyone, those who have query, those who are watching in, right, will be happy to address your queries. You can put it in the comment section. Do check the links which are there in the description, and do share this video with your friends, those who are looking for an interview prep. Right. And wish you all the best for your career ahead, guys. And thanks once again.
Thank you
so much, sir. Thank you
so much. It was a pleasure.